So we're here with powerful warrior woman fighting every day in America KKK against these oppressions and oppressors. Corrina, can you tell us where we're at and why?
Yeah, we're at the Bay Street Mall in Emeryville on the corner of Ohlone Way and Shellmound Street. We're educating people about the desecration of this ancient burial that was older than the pyramids in Egypt. At one time that this shell mound was over 60 feet high. Imagine these buildings that are this tall. That's how tall the shell mound was. It was 350 feet in diameter, so it stopped where IKEA starts, where IKEA stops. And it goes all the way down past those lights there. And so it was a huge monument of our ancestors, It was a burial site, a cemetery. It was also a place where we had ceremony, a place where people came and they traded and they had, families, It was one of those places. In 1857, it was on a coast survey map so that people coming into the bay could use it as a point of reference. It was that huge. Yeah, and so, in 1999, we began fighting this development, asking the city of Emeryville not to put a shopping mall, not to desecrate our ancient sites any more than it already was. It had been desecrated by people early on. It was an amusement park. Prohibition came in, that kind of fell apart. But there was a dance pavilion right on the very top of the shell mound, and that's kind of what saved it, for a while. Then archaeology department at UC Berkeley caught up with it. Desecrated the site, did the entire, took down almost the entire mall, and then other developers came on, and like Paint Factory, and they poured arsenic and paint and different kinds of things on it before EPA laws, and it created this whole thing that was a brownfield, that was a toxic waste dump, and the federal government was giving the city of Emeryville money in order to clean it up. So when we went to the city of Emeryville, we asked them not to put a mall on top of it, but to clean it up and open it up as open space so that we could talk about our ancestors. We really believe that it's cultural genocide having developers continue to do these kinds of things on top of the burial site. It erases us from the history of this area. It erases us from the history books. People think that we don't exist. And so this is in order for people that this kind of desecration in the Bay Area doesn't have to happen ever again. That we can continue to work alongside each other, doesn't matter what culture and ethnic background you are, that we can respect each other, respect our ancestors and the land of who we're on.
Right, and unlike my people, the Taino people, who are supposedly not even there anymore because of that kind of genocide, right? But I want to go back a step. You said that what I would call the anthropologists took a part in this. The UC Berkeley, what exactly happened there?
Well, there was an archaeology department at UC Berkeley that actually started up in the early 1900s. And what they did was that, there wasn't an archaeology department then, and they started one, and they found this huge shell mound here, and they took it down. They took it apart, and they took thousands of our ancestral remains, which is now continues to be held captive at UC Berkeley in the Hearst Museum. They won't give them back. Hundreds more was found when they developed this. Mall, and they're in a mass grave where nobody knows where they are. So that's why I'm talking about cultural genocide. It's like, okay, we know that they're here. We're going to put them in a mass grave, and we're not going to tell you where they're at. So you can't come here. Then you can't come here and you can't respect them in the way that you're supposed to, And that's why another reason we created this whole shell mound walk is that not only this place is developed on top of them, but there's buildings, there's streets, there's railroad tracks, there's bars on top of our ancient burial sites, and and that doesn't have to happen anymore. That there's other ways of people doing it, and all over the world, people come up with the same things, but they honor their ancestors. They build around them. They don't do the same kind of horrific stuff that they do in this country, and it's because we're first people here, and the laws don't affect us. It's this United States government. All of the cemeteries that are built since this government took over this land, they occupied this land. They have rights in those places.
Thank you.
Our ancient burial sites that have been here since before time immemorial, they don't have those same kind of laws here that protect us. And so it's always a struggle and it's a fight. Every day I wake up in Oakland and I see a street being opened up or I see some kind of development happening, I have to wonder if my ancestors are going to be pulled out of the ground that day. You know, and so it's really about talking about that and ensuring people that everybody has the obligation and the responsibility to be the eyes and ears for the ancestors here. Because when other people find out about it, it gives us the opportunity to make the fight, to stop it from happening, you know.
Let me ask you one last thing. I know that you were involved in the fight for another sacred trail, which is the Presidio. And that met a developer or a developer end in the same way. Where do you see, like, how do you see it correlating to this, or do you? I mean,
yeah, well, the laws that are in effect around development, it doesn't matter whether it's here or the Presidio or Segurite and Vallejo, the developers have the upper hand because those laws were put in effect to protect them, not to protect the ancient sites. And so, you know, they have to do certain things, you know, but really the only thing that they have to do is to get a recommendation from somebody that might be descended from that area. You know, and it's a recommendation. You know, I could go up to anybody on the street and say, hey, what do you recommend that we do? And then the developer has the right to say, yeah, we like that recommendation, or sorry, that just doesn't fit into our plan, so we're going to do this instead. Yeah, we're going to take all your ancestors out, you know, and we're going to bury them over this place and they'll never be disturbed again. But the fact of the matter is that the land that people are buried in is consecrated land, and it doesn't matter what place you come from in the world. We have those ceremonies to put our ancestors away forever. We don't have ceremony to pull them back up. Nobody has that. And so that's why it should never be, you know, the desecration should never happen. And we should not allow it to happen as human beings, not just as indigenous people of this land, but as human beings, we shouldn't allow that to happen.
It's beautiful. Thank you.
Well.